but they still have thimerosal
Yes,
in them.
yes, they still also have multi-dose vials that do contain
Why don't they
thimerosal
go to
as a
single-dose
preservative.
vials?
I know that they are considering the feasibility of...
Why don't you tell them to do that?
We consider these vaccines, which also contain thimerosal as a preservative, to be safe and effective. However, we do consider that it's important to have vaccines...
Did you hear any of the testimony earlier from those people that were testifying, those scientists and doctors?
Yes, I did.
Did you see the study from Canada there that showed the damage that's done when a very minute amount of mercury is put in proximity to brain cells?
I think it's hard to extrapolate that data to what actually happens in the clinical situation.
Well, you know, every study that's been done, Doctor, that you guys have put forth as showing that there's no correlation between thimerosal and autism doesn't say categorically that thimerosal doesn't cause autism. They never say that. Can you tell me right now, categorically, without any doubt whatsoever, that mercury in vaccines does not cause autism?
I think what I'd have to say is what the Institute of Medicine concluded is that the body of evidence neither allows you to accept
I want you to give me
reject
I want you to give me a yes or no. Can you tell me, can you say right now, just flat out, just say, can you tell me without any doubt whatsoever that the mercury in vaccines does not cause neurological problems or autism?
We can neither accept nor reject a causal relationship.
So what you're saying is you cannot tell me that. You cannot say categorically, can you?
We don't know one way or the other. But
so why are you keeping something in there if you don't know one way or the other? When you know that there's an epidemic of autism. If there's an epidemic of something, why do you keep it in there when you're not sure? Because every study I've seen flatly says you're not sure. You say you can't say yay or nay.
I think you have to consider the benefit that vaccines confer, and there's a definite benefit from influenza vaccine, and having an adequate supply of vaccine is very important.
Okay, well, let me follow up on that then. Single shot vials, does that need thimerosal?
No, they don't, but there
well,
are
then why don't we have single shot
There
vials?
are a lot of manufacturing issues associated with switching over. You need much more filling capacity for the lines. You need a lot more other kinds of things that need to be introduced. So although it can be done, and both Evans and Aventis Pasteur have started to introduce that, it is not something that at present they have the capacity to do in entirety.
Let me ask you this. Do these pharmaceutical companies that produce these vaccines have had in the past the ability to produce, and have they produced single shot vials?
Yes, they do, because that's how Evans and Aventis Pasteur is doing it right now.
How about all of the pharmaceutical companies? Do all the pharmaceutical companies pretty much have the ability to produce single shot vials?
You know, I couldn't speak to that categorically. I don't know, but I do know certainly in the case of Aventis Pasteur and Evans that they do have that ability because they are doing that.
Then why hasn't the FDA, to be on the safe side, knowing that we're having 1 in over 250 and in some cases 1 in 150 children becoming autistic, and there's a growing body of evidence that thimerosal and mercury is causing that, why wouldn't you go down the cautious road instead of coming up with these additional studies that say, well, we're not sure, we can't say yay or nay? Why not go to single shot vials?
Because we believe that the multi-dose vials continue to be safe and effective, and that they speak to having enough supply of influenza vaccine, which serves a very important public health
Let me just end up by
effort.
saying this. You know, I'm a student. I studied at the Cincinnati Bible Seminary. And I don't like to quote scripture very often, but there's none so blind as those that will not see. You just sit there and you keep saying over and over and over again that you think that there's not a real danger for having this mercury in these vaccines. There's been 1,500 plus articles written saying that there is a problem. We've got scientists from all over the world coming in here. You saw a demonstration from a Canadian tape showing the impact of a minute amount of mercury in brain cells, and yet you continue to say, well, we don't think that a very small amount of mercury in it, but you don't know because there's no study that you put out that I've seen, not one, that says categorically that mercury in vaccines does not cause neurological problems. You can't tell me that today. You've hedged all over that issue, and you guys just continue to keep coming up here and making excuses, and I don't understand why. Why not just get it out of there?